RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is going on, good kind people? You are checking out an all-new The RCWR show. Wait, before we officially begin, though. Man, I can't believe I almost forgot to do this. You know, as long as I have been on the air and I've been doing shows, I'm always on point. I am always efficient, man. But no, I actually have forgot the most important thing to do. And any podcaster will tell you this. You got to make sure that you hit that record button. You got to. So once again, welcome one, welcome all. You're checking out an all-new The RCWR show, covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Dropping this episode for you guys for the week of May 17th, 2021. Couple of minutes removed from an all-new WWE RAW. How'd y'all do, man? How'd y'all come out watching tonight's WWE RAW? Me personally, it was a bit of a lackluster episode. Nothing really monumental had came about. And, you know, you would have expected for there to be a little bit more sizzle, a little bit more pop, a little bit more substance and everything. But nah, nothing right now. And it is what it is. There was a couple of bright spots in regards to tonight's show and everything. I gotta tell you guys, though, I think this is probably, as far as touching upon key points from Monday's Raw, I think this is probably gonna be one of the most quickest Raw reactions, couple of key highlight talks and all that. Honestly, because I mean, what more could we talk about from Raw tonight? Normally we can go about 45 minutes talking about Raw, but man, I honestly believe we're going to be done talking about Raw in about 15 minutes, which is okay, because I mean, there's definitely loads more stuff we can get into. We can kind of make up for it a little bit by putting the ball in you all's court. Any wrestling, non-wrestling related questions you want me to maybe dive into and everything, we can definitely, you know, have at it and everything. So welcome one, welcome all. We're streaming live for the next little bit, wherever you're tuning in to check us out live right now, be it on Twitter, Twitch, what else we got going on? We got the YouTube, we got the Facebook, however you're checking out the show. Appreciate the love and support as always. I had ran this idea by my girl right before I literally had came on the air, and I told her, I said, you know, with the wedding and the honeymoon coming up in less than 2.5 weeks, give or take, it's like, you know, I'm pretty much, since I'm not going to be doing a show for about 2 weeks there, kind of feels like we should be doing a season finale. And she kind of looked at me, she said, huh? I said, yeah, I've strongly been considering doing a season finale of the shows. And she's like, you've never done that before. I said, exactly. It would technically be a first, because normally it's one thing if, man, shoot, the longest I've gone without doing a show is typically a week. And I usually give myself an opportunity to recharge and all of that. And she was like, she's like, that actually, depending on how you pull it off, bring it all together, that's actually kind of cool. So I can tell you guys right now, there will be a season finale of the RCWR show. Everything's just pretty much going to culminate in one episode. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can have some special guests that's going to drop by for that season finale or whatever. And then pretty much 2 weeks later, we'll do a big old season premiere and all that. Kind of like a nice, good, hard reboot and all that. And maybe we'll have like some nice little cool trinkets of some cool shit that'll happen when we do come back. Maybe a new intro. maybe some new graphics. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm playing around with it right now. It's still relatively early, so we'll see. And it's actually kind of cool that we got this season finale that's going to be coming up, because just kind of give you guys a little bit of an update, because I touched upon it briefly from last week. I can't remember which show. You guys got to forgive me, because there was like so many shows I put out last week. It was so funny because somebody, I think it was Left Twix. It was either Left Twix or it was either, no, I think it was Left Twix, because somebody said to me, hey, I was checking out your show, and first time checking it out, big fan of it. I now put it in regular rotation. And I said, oh, okay, cool. Which show did you check out? I said, sorry, bud, but there was like so many shows I had put out last week. It's kind of hard for me to keep track unless you tell me specifically. And he told me which show specifically it was he began checking out and everything. And that pretty much had began for him a nice little domino effect and everything. And I was like, okay, cool. So, but in an update from last week, with regards to the timing of doing the season finale and everything, it's solid, because my Rodecaster Pro, it sadly needs to go in for repairs, possibly a total replacement. I won't be saying this too many other times. I'll probably be saying this here on this show, and that's pretty much going to be it. So this will be like my second time bringing it up, in case you didn't tune in to the shows from last week, or on one of them I did touch upon it. But I had a nice big old cup of water, and it was actually off in the cut here where the mixer is. And when the broadcast was over and everything, I went in for the water because I wanted to grab some more, and the damn thing just tipped over. And I mean, a nice amount, at least half amount of water went into the mixer. And I just hurried up, and I just flipped that damn mixer, shook it as best as I could, trying to get all the water out of it. And it seemed to still be functioning just fine. Everything, without a hitch, everything was fine. Came back the next day, or maybe 2 days later, and it just started to do all this weird batty fucking shit and everything. Even to the point when I was sitting back with the missus over the weekend, and we were recording a new Wrestling with the Topics, which is available right now for our Patreon familia. Go check it out when you get a chance. I had to do some stuff off the fly just to be able to make sure that not only would my audio be picked up, but her audio would be picked up as well. So, as it stands right now, technically I only have 2 channels out of 4 where I can pretty much hook up a mic and I can do my thing and everything, whereas the other outputs, so I had the greatest experience with customer service earlier today for the mixer, and they were totally nice. I told the guy exactly what was going on, and he was like, oh, no problem, Mr. Sanders. We're going ahead and we'll generate a ticket for you right now. I'm going to email you all the information so you know where to send the mixer and all that. And any additional questions you have, just feel free to touch base with us. I said, oh, okay, cool. So sure enough, got off the phone, not even 5 minutes. I get the email. I get all the information. I'm going to be without my baby for a good minute. I'm going to be without it for a couple of weeks because it's going to be going in for repairs tomorrow. And it's going to be going to California. Yeah, it's going all the way to California for the repairs. So I was telling the missus about it tonight, and she said, you should have it maybe, right before we leave for the wedding. I said, no, I doubt that. I'm like, that turnaround? Like, no, like that's too quick of a turnaround. It's like, and then considering what's going on usually with, considering what usually is going on with shipping speeds, I mean, to each its own, but I don't know when's the last time you guys had ordered some stuff online, but the shipping speed can be a little bit funky at times. So I told her, I said, no, we need to prepare for the worst. Like, worst case scenario, I'm probably not going to be getting that mixer back until mid-June. So I'm already estimating in my head probably about maybe June 19th, I'll probably get it back. I mean, if I were to get it back a lot sooner than that, that's pretty cool. So I already got a substitute that's on the way. It was a mixer I was looking at many years ago, way before I ended up getting the mixer that I have right now. And I definitely would encourage any aspiring podcasters, those that's looking for a good piece of beginner equipment. You want my recommendation, and your budget is a little bit tight right now, but you want a lot of bang for your buck and everything. You want to try to get the best kind of quality that you could potentially get and everything. There is a mixer by Behringer. And I want to say it is I think it's a 802 USB mixer. Um, you guys got to bear with me a second because I've looked at it off and on over the years. And hang on a second. I can actually tell you. So I'm actually looking it up right now. Yeah, I'm remembering it right. It's a Behringer Xenix, and it is a 302. That's the model that I'm thinking of. It's a Behringer Xenix 302 USB mixer. So if for right now, if you're just doing a podcast where you're just by yourself, you don't plan on having any guests whatsoever, it's just pretty much going to be you. I'm telling you, when you look at this little mixer and everything, I mean, it's a nice little compact mixer. I love it. I mean, it can pretty much, it's like about that big. I know for those that's only going to be checking out the audio version of the show, you're not really able to see my hands, but it's a small little joint basically. And what's really cool about that is, you got a situation where maybe you're going to be going with the family somewhere, you're going to be doing some type of traveling, and you're going to be taking your laptop, and you're like, oh man, I got this big ass heavy piece of machinery of a mixer at home. I don't feel comfortable taking that with me on the road. Well, something like the 302 USB mixer I'm talking about, it's pretty convenient to have with you and all of that. So I think you can get away with, I'm trying to think how many channels it has, because I know you got your main channel. I want to say pretty much there's about 3 channels, but it's all tied to basically technically two channels. When you look at, okay, this controls this controls this, and that controls that. So I definitely recommend you check that out. And as far as the budget goes, I mean, we're talking like about $50, but it packs a lot of punch because you can do so much more, and not only controlling your volume, but you can also control the level of the bass, how much bass as you're talking. You can also control that. And this is all while you're live on the air and all that. So you can do that. So it's really cool. And I mean, $50, you can't beat that. So I got that on the way. Also got a hold of some really cool wrestling books on the way as well. I'm finally making the investment. And I've been eyeballing it for some years now. And each time I've had it on the Christmas list, and the family has, I don't know for whatever respective reason, but of all the things, the family has somehow managed to avoid it over the years. I don't know why. I guess because I give them so many options. And rather than ask me, well, what do you really want from this list? They pretty much randomly, my family will just, but somehow over the years, the Nitro book, exactly the Nitro book I'm talking about. That one WCW Nitro book. It just says Nitro. It's the one that Eric Bischoff has put over numerously over the years. That Nitro book that I'm talking about. So I got that on the way. I got New Jack's autobiography. I heard off and on over the years from a few people that, man, New Jack, his book, his autobiography. Check it out. So, and shout out to Mish. I know Mish, he dug New Jack's autobiography. I don't think he finished it. I think he probably got about a quarter into New Jack's autobiography. So while I was checking out the mixer, I was like, okay, well, so I got some wrestling books that's on the way and everything. So I'm good. But it's going to be sad parting with the mixer, man. So I guess it's kind of cool that we're going to be doing this whole season finale in a couple of weeks or whatnot. So yeah, good shit right there. I don't know what's more sadder, what's going on with the mixer or the fact that next Monday, that's it. Black Lightning, the series finale. A little bit on the fence. What's going on there? Mixed emotions right now. Mixed emotions. I really hope that if there's a chance for Black Lightning to get picked up through another network, hopefully it'll get picked up from another network. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, all signs right now seem to indicate that's not even in the cards for that series. But, you know, stranger things have happened. You know, we think it's the end of a series, and then the next thing you know, boom, Netflix or Hulu or somebody else comes in and they give that series a new lease on life. You look at Lucifer, for example, when Fox decided, we're done. Netflix came right on in there and pretty much picked up the series for what? I think it finally got canned, but I think Netflix picked it up for maybe 2, maybe 3 additional seasons or whatnot. So I mean, it's not the first time. So we'll see what happens. But all right, let's talk about Raw, cause I know some of you guys are like, get on with damn wrestling already. Look, I really don't have that much to say about WWE Raw tonight. Probably the one saving grace for me with regards to WWE Raw. And you think I'm bullshitting. I'm not going 40 minutes talking about Raw tonight because it was a very lackluster episode. It really, really was. And so there's no reason for us to be talking about this show for 40 minutes. So again, if you have any wrestling, non-wrestling related questions you want me to tackle on this episode, have at it. Otherwise, we're going to have a pretty short show. I promise you at this point, we actually might be done by midnight. That's how short of a show we probably are going to be having tonight. One saving grace about Raw tonight, Bobby fucking Lashley. For me, that's what it was all about. Was just saying, okay, so what's next in the chapter of our current WWE champion and Bobby Lashley? What is next for him? I loved how the show opened up. He pretty much was getting his whole train on as he was just out there with some very beautiful women. Very, very beautiful women. Nice escorts. I'm not talking about the kind that they literally were escorts because they escorted him to the ring, basically. One of them I kept thinking was, oh God, what's that girl that used to be in WWE a couple of years back, and apparently she had a drinking problem. Not Alicia Fox, Rosa Mendez. One of the girls that was around the arm of Lashley tonight looked a lot like Rosa Mendez, and I just couldn't help but look at her, and I'm like, damn. So Rosa Mendez is just gonna quietly just pop up in WWE, and she's just gonna be a valet for Bobby Lashley tonight. Like really, this is how we're. And then I actually had to pause the TV because I could not believe that I was seeing Rosa Mendez, because I was that convinced it was Rosa Mendez. And then when I pause and I'm really looking, I'm going, nah, that's definitely not Rosa Mendez, right? I mean, very close to. I mean, looked like it could have been a sibling. No bullshit. You didn't watch Raw tonight, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about when you catch the repeats and all that, catch the highlights. Definitely looked like it could be somebody related to Rosa Mendez and everything. So I like seeing him come out with that nice little pimp swag that was going on and everything. Open challenge was issued because at this point, Lashley feels as though he's done with Braun Strowman. He's pretty much done with Drew McIntyre. He's ready for some new challengers. Anybody that maybe wants to step up to the plate and everything, come have at it and everything. And, of course, so there's your carrot for tonight. Who is next? Who is potentially going to step up to the plate and challenge Bobby Lashley, right? That's what it was all about. And of course, we got all these conflicting reports that's going on with Braun Strowman right now. Um, I hate dealing with rumors, speculation, and all that. I really hate dealing with that. I'm more so interested in dealing with the facts and everything. And, for those of you that, maybe are not aware, there's quite a few things that's going around right now about Braun Strowman. There's a lot of things that's going around about Bray Wyatt. One of the things going on about Bray Wyatt that's being reported is he's still mourning over the loss of his good friend Brody Lee, Luke Harper, saying that he's not taking his passing well, that it's really, really been messing him up and everything. And then you've got other reports that are saying that Bray Wyatt is in a position once again where, we know that he is definitely an individual that has struggled with mental health over the years, emotional health and everything over the years. By the way, in case you all don't know, May is the month of mental awareness and everything. So, if you are struggling in any type of way, it doesn't mean that you got to be bipolar or schizophrenic, or, it could just be a case where you are just hit with some depression. Maybe you're hit with some depression because maybe you just recently lost a job, or maybe that raise you were looking forward to getting, that promotion you were looking forward to getting, it's not happening. So that's kind of put you in a funk or whatever the case may be for you. Basically there are resources available for you to, get the help that you need. It helps to talk about it though. Keeping that shit internal, you have no way of channeling that shit out. It can be very toxic on you when you don't let that out. So, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, by the way. So yeah, peep that out. So you got a lot of conflicting reports about Bray Wyatt, and then you got another report that's floating around where, Bray's good. Sources very close to Bray. Bray's good. He's actually fine. He's in very good spirits. He's been backstage for these WWE shows, but creative has had nothing for him. So understand what I'm saying? A lot of conflicting reports that's going on right now. And I know a lot of people, they want to talk. They want to try to guess. They like that whole juicy gossip shit. Me personally, as far as I'm concerned, it's okay. Yeah, I hear this stuff that's going on, but that's all it is rumors and speculation. Let's just deal with the facts. And the facts are, we have not seen Bray Wyatt on TV in a good minute now. It's been many weeks. One of the last times we saw Bray Wyatt, he pretty much was saying in regards to Alexa Bliss, hey, she used to be my girl, but she kicked me to the curb. Whatever. I ain't really like her anyway. Cool. And that's pretty much been it for Bray Wyatt, essentially. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much been it for Bray Wyatt, right? So, Braun Strowman, you got the stuff that's being reported about him. I know recently Braun Strowman had opened up in an interview about his struggles with body image. But, it seems that the way the dirt sheets are kind of spinning things in regards to Braun, it's, look, when these respected men are ready to say anything publicly, and that's if they choose to want to say something publicly to their fans just to officially clear the air, put all these dirt sheets in their place, then they will issue some type of an official statement. But all these dirt sheets and websites and podcasts that's just throwing darts on the freaking wall and just trying to see where it sticks. Most of these guys are just looking for the clickbaits and all that other shit. Look, I can definitely respect somebody that has the fortitude to jump out there and directly ask these said superstars in questions. Hey, what's going on? Is everything all right with you? Why haven't we seen you on TV? what's going on. And hey, at least you can take comfort in saying, okay, I asked that superstar straight up on social media what's going on. Or if you know about how to contact said superstar directly via email, their agent, you got their cell phone, you got their email, whatever. And, hey, they did decline to offer any comment, okay, well, you pretty much are running with that. And it is what it is. But let's not, let's give these people their space. That's my whole thing. Let's give these people their space. Just because we don't see somebody on TV for a period of time, it doesn't always mean that it's doom and gloom, y'all. Sometimes it could just be a case where, hey, I got this thing that's going on with this house, and I gotta be there because I gotta see this through. They're almost done building it, blah 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 blah. Oh hey, I'm doing a solid for my parents because they're gonna be going down to their beach home, for the next couple of weeks, and they've got nobody to animal sit for them. So blah blah blah. I got some vacation time coming up. I wanna, so I mean, give them their space. And I'm sure if they got something that they want to say to their fans and to the press, then they'll definitely jump out there. They'll say something when they're good and ready. You feel where I'm coming from? So ultimately, who would be the person to step up to the plate? Who would be the person to challenge Bobby Lashley in the ring later on in the night? Kind of got a little bit of a tease there from Damian Priest. Damian Priest was saying maybe he'd be the one to, and this came after he picked up a dub over John Morrison. Yes, they did acknowledge those goddamn zombies. Yet again, they acknowledged those zombies. Don't even get me started on that. We already talked about that shit at great length on the post show from less than 24 hours ago. Appreciate those of you that went out of your way, tuned in for that one, by the way. But those goddamn motherfucking zombies. So the way they're spinning it right now, I don't know how John Morrison was able to escape, but their spin on this is basically the zombies were fucking real, and that apparently they did do something to the Miz, because the way John Morrison spoke, he spoke as if Miz was in heaven. And what happened with the zombies and everything. Look, am I a little bit curious, as stupid as this arc is right now? Am I a little bit curious what's going on with the Miz? I am. I gotta be a man of my word. I did say on social media, this will be interesting if it turns out the zombies actually hate Miz, and that's officially the last that we've seen of Miz, and maybe he's gonna come back totally repackaged or something. I'm a little bit curious to see where that goes. But yeah, they're still running with these real zombies. The zombies were real and all that shit. So it's kind of interesting because I saw quite a few people that were commenting about that whole zombie shit. I see Chris Jericho really, really dug in. I mean, he really fucking dug in, and I totally feel where he's coming from. But you had other people that were so quick to go, well, what's up with Abaddon? We got Abaddon in AEW, and she's a fucking zombie wrestler. What the fuck? What the fuck? There's a big difference between what Abaddon is doing in AEW and the shit that we had got last night. The big difference is in regards to Abaddon. Abaddon, when you look at Abaddon, you go, Jesus Christ almighty, that is one ugly son of a bitch. That, get the hell away from me. That is just, you are just freakish. You are just, yeah, get the hell away from me. Right? So what I look at in regards to Abaddon, she is doing shit from a psychological standpoint, almost no different than what my girl at Impact Wrestling, Su Yung, typically does and everything, right? So when I look at Abaddon, that's what I think of. But then the other thing that I think of as well is, man, once that bell rings, Homegirl is just ferocious in that ring. And I love the fact that she'll actually try to bite on her opponent. She'll try to by any limb, anything that she can get a hold of and everything. But there is always, it's very tactical. It everything that she does, from the entrance to the ramp, in the ring, everything, there is a lot of thought, great emphasis that's put into such a really cool ass character. What we got in regards to that match, if you want to call it that, last night is two things. First, we're told that blah 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 match is brought to you in part by Dave Bautista's new movie. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you've got all these guys that are dressed up as zombies that come out and they're acting as lumberjacks. And you're going, okay, yeah, all right, I know it's a tie-in to a movie, but do we really need to? You know what really would have been cool, quite honestly? What really would have been cool was if these zombie lumberjacks were doing fucking punches, they were doing fucking flips and all kinds of other cool shit. That kind of would have been freaking badass. I think most people would have, okay, not for nothing, but movie tie-in, but the zombies are doing this, okay, cool. But then when we also add in the element of, well, apparently Miz got eaten by zombies, and I mean, this is the new low. This is like that new RoboCop low, right? That's how low we've gone with this. What WWE did essentially Sunday night, they kind of, it's bad enough that at times pro wrestling still gets bad rep, as JR would say. You still watch that shit, but when you have shit like what played out Sunday, it does kind of hurt the business. It sets the business back just a little bit and everything. And what WWE did, they were so focused on getting the movie over and then being so damn gimmicky at the same time, that where they lacked the most was on quality. And when you compare what Abaddon has been doing before she joined AEW, because her Abaddon gimmick, it was already intact. Understand something. Abaddon had been doing, and that's the other thing when people were bringing up the whole, AEW, and understand something. What brought Abaddon to the dance and ultimately being signed with AEW was because she had been tearing it up way before the pandemic came about and everything. She had been tearing it up with that Abaddon gimmick, and she has had such a strong cult-like following that cult following alone pretty much petitioned openly and passionately on social media, hey, AEW, you guys gotta freaking do something with Abaddon. You gotta figure out a way to bring her in and give her an opportunity to showcase her skills for you guys, because she's pretty freaking badass. And the general consensus of Abaddon was, not only does she have the perfect cool fucking gimmick from head to toe, she's pretty fucking good in the ring as well. Versus what you guys saw last night. So hopefully that kind of puts a nice pretty little ribbon around that, because I'm getting a little annoyed seeing people try to go so quick to bring up Abaddon, and I like the one comment I saw last night where, and I'm not mocking the person in any type of way, but somebody had brought up Undertaker, wasn't he a dead person for such a long period of time, and all of that shit. I don't need to rehash the Undertaker part, because we kind of went all in on that one on Sunday's post show and everything. So hopefully that puts a nice pretty little ribbon on things. But they still acknowledge the whole zombie thing tonight. So I'm a little bit curious exactly where we're going with this. On a positive note, if there was anything positive that has come from this whole Ms. Morrison thing, remember how weeks now I've been very passionate about Damian Priest. Can we get him away from John Morrison and The Miz already? Because this just seems to be kind of hurting the guy. And I told you guys repeatedly, unless we're continuing on with this because we're getting ready to add a new element, maybe in the form of Keith Lee coming back. And okay, Damian Priest, Keith Lee. Oh, okay, cool. Well, on a positive note tonight, Damian Priest was interviewed shortly after his victory over John Morrison. What's next? And he pretty much let it be known, he's interested in taking on newcomers, new challenges, new obstacles. And that's what ultimately has set him up for saying, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be the one to challenge Bobby Lashley since he's got that open challenge there. I think I just might go ahead and do that. And yet 40 fucking minutes later, when it counts the most, or however long it was, 40, 50 minutes later, when it counts the most, we got Damian Priest that said what he said, and yet Damian Priest is nowhere to be fucking found. What was Damian Priest doing? Was Damian Priest taking a shit? Was Damian Priest helping himself at the freaking catering? Was Damian Priest at the vending machine and he was enjoying some Fritos and a Coke Zero? What was going on with Damian Priest? I'm a stickler for detail, a huge stickler for detail. And I really would have appreciated it if, okay, so Damian Priest, all right, he's pretty much let it be known. He's going to come right at. Okay, you know what really would have been cool? It really would have been cool. This is how you clean that up. It really would have been cool had we seen Damian Priest backstage. He's feeling pretty confident after W from Morrison and everything. And then the next thing you know, just wham, somebody just attacks him from behind. Could be with a foreign object, whatever you want to call it. And now you got a little mystery going on. Who attacked Damian Priest? Or you just come back from a commercial break and the commentators, they're saying, hey, apparently we got some news that something went down backstage. Let's jump right to it. Damian Priest is laid out on the freaking ground. EMTs and all that, they're helping him out. All right, so obviously you kind of have that thought in your head. Well, damn, if that went down with Damian Priest, what does that mean for later on in the night? Is he potentially... is he still going to try to challenge Bobby Lashley? Or by the looks of it, is it safe to say that he's pretty much done for the night? Just so you can at least kind of close that respected gap there, I personally feel. Now, some people may say, nah, Lee, they did it just right because you didn't know exactly who was going to be coming out to challenge. But I feel you to a certain degree. Yet, when you look at how Damian Priest pretty much made the proclamation there, again, I'm a stickler for detail, to each its own. To see Kofi Kingston be the one to challenge Bobby Lashley at the end, I was down with that. I totally didn't have any problem with that. And we had just saw Kofi Kingston earlier in the night because he was in action against Randy Orton. So we got a nice little continuation there between Riddle trying to be the peacemaker. And, he likes his boys in the New Day. He also likes Randy Orton. He's trying to figure out some type of way to have all of these guys work as a cohesive unit and everything. And it just, the personalities, just the history, the rich history between these respected parties, that's just not gonna happen. So pretty much things led to a challenge from Randy Orton. Was it a challenge from Randy Orton, or was it it was actually Kofi that kind of issued the challenge, now that I think about it. Kofi was actually the one that issued the challenge to Randy Orton. So those guys pretty much went at it one-on-one and everything. Kofi Kingston picking up the dub. Matt Riddle pretty hot about it, tried to be peacemaker once again, but we kind of started to see a little bit of a mean streak come out from Riddle there, where he ended up pushing Xavier Woods flat on his ass and rolling out. So he basically chose the side of Randy Orton. You kind of can't help but wonder right there in regards to New Day. New Day's trying to tell Riddle, look, it's just a matter of time before this guy turns his back on you when you least suspect it. Don't say we didn't try to warn you. It really kind of came off tonight, though, that as far as alliances goes, Riddle chose Orton over New Day. So, you kind of can't help but wonder, okay, so where exactly is that going to take Riddle now that he's pretty much aligned himself with Orton? Where is that gonna? So I like that interesting development that's going on between RK Bro and New Day. I like that whole little element that's going on. By the way, that main event match between Kofi Kingston and Lashley, great fucking match, by the way. Wish it could have went a little bit longer. I was a little bit bummed out that pretty much we got those guys wrestling just barely 10 minutes, but damn good for what it was worth. You would have thought that maybe Randy Orton would have tried to extract some type of revenge for what went down earlier and everything. You would have thought that, and maybe in some form Riddle would have been there as well. Again, what was going on with Riddle, Randy Orton? What were they at that same vending machine with Damian Priest? Were the Fritos and Coke Zero that bomb tonight that, there just was no reason to go back out, right? It's not their fault. You got to just look at it from just the way this show was written tonight, just the way it was structured. You're like, man, they just kind of, they just pretty much just said, we'll do this, and yeah, fuck it. And it's like, well, what about, yeah, fuck it. I mean, that's literally how it felt creative had operated tonight, man. Literally. Trying to think what happened there in the final moments. MVP trying to take advantage of a distraction as the referee. He had enough of Xavier Woods. He felt that Xavier Woods was getting a little bit too involved in the action, and he actually ejected him. And while Xavier Woods was running his mouth off to the referee, MVP, he actually tried to take his cane, and he tried to hit Kofi upside the head with it. But Drew McIntyre just out of nowhere showed up behind MVP, grabbing that cane. MVP wanted nothing to do with Drew, backed off. Drew taking that same cane, hitting Bobby Lashley in the stomach. I think he got him on the head as well, and that pretty much, that assist from Drew McIntyre helping Kofi Kingston pick up the dub over the WWE champion. And Raw pretty much going off the air with Drew McIntyre with a big old Chester grin on his face, celebrating with New Day. So, now you can't help but wonder, okay, well, now that Kofi Kingston has defeated Lashley, by the way, stroke of genius. I'll give credit where credit needs to be due as far as the little attention to detail. I love the fact that in storyline we had MVP say to Kofi Kingston, oh, okay, so you're the one that, okay, well, wait a minute, before this match begins, I just want to make sure we clear the air here. I didn't say anything about a title shot opportunity. I said open challenge, but I ain't say nothing about no title shot opportunity. The almighty champion didn't say nothing about a title shot opportunity. So yeah, this ain't for no title shot opportunity. So non-title matchup, but now that Kofi's got this dub, you can't help but wonder, okay, as far as bragging rights go, as far as going into Hell in a Cell, what does this mean? Does this mean that we're potentially going to be seeing Kofi Kingston and Lashley go at it for the WWE Championship? What's going on there? You also still got that element there for what it's worth. What is exactly going on with Braun Strowman? What exactly is going on with Drew McIntyre? The way it's kind of coming off with Drew McIntyre right now, it almost comes off as if, hey, we're willing to challenge anybody but Drew McIntyre, because he's had opportunity after opportunity. So we're kind of done with him. So I can't help but wonder, okay, Drew, we see what happened tonight, but just long term going into Hell in a Cell, what exactly is his role gonna be and everything? So some interesting elements that we got going on there as we're a couple of weeks away from that Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Honestly, the way I'm kind of feeling right now, look, I don't know what's going on with Braun. I found it rather weird that no Braun Strowman tonight. Found that rather weird. And again, you got those weird reports that's floating around, and all that is just speculation and rumors. But you were kind of under the impression that maybe coming up at Hell in a Cell, maybe it was gonna be Lashley, Strowman, McIntyre one more time, like absolutely one more time. But just what we got tonight, now it kind of feels as though, no, that's not the direction we're going in. We're going in a completely different other direction. So a little bit curious. I mean, for me, going into Hell in a Cell, because there's probably going to most likely be one Hell in a Cell match from Raw, and then there's going to be a Hell in a Cell match from SmackDown. I would have no problem if Bianca Belair and Bayley were to go at it inside a Hell in a Cell. I'll have no problem with that whatsoever. It's a lot better than the idea I had yesterday, although I think they should still strongly consider. Remember what I said last night. Go back and listen to the post show from last night. I went into the crystal ball a little bit, and I basically said ultimately you do something where, it's a hair versus hair match and everything. And I talked about how Bayley's probably going to be coming out on this week's SmackDown with petitions and signs talking about that damn braid. And if I remember correctly, I said something along the lines of, there's probably going to be another match between the two, but there's going to be some weird stipulation put out there that if Bianca uses her hair in any type of way, during the match, uses it as a weapon basically in any type of way during the match with Bayley, that she'll be disqualified on the spot and the title will definitely change hands. So, to jump from Act 1 and then we're going right to Act 3, you feel where I'm coming from? I'm a little bit kind of miffy on that. So it's like, okay, do you maybe go with the women for Hell in a Cell, or do you maybe go with Roman Reigns in a Hell in a Cell against, and you fill in the blank? You got to fill in the blank. It ain't Cesaro. I don't see how you can put Cesaro in that Hell in a Cell. I just don't see how you can do that, because you had Roman Reigns. I mean, think about that. We've spent these past couple of months where Cesaro, Rollins, we're doing all this nice little build-up with Cesaro. Cesaro gets this nice build-up and everything from D. Bryan on his way off of SmackDown and everything. So we get this nice little build-up for Cesaro, and then Cesaro loses cleanly to Roman at the pay-per-view last night. Oh, and to add more insult to injury, we got Jey Uso who comes out and just lays his ass out. So you're just looking at all of that. You're going, well, it ain't going to be Cesaro that's going to be in the picture there at Hell in a Cell. So again, my question that I asked last night, where's Edge? Does Edge maybe come back into the mix and he finally gets that one-on-one match that he always wanted before D. Bryan got inserted and all that? Does he finally, and now that D. Bryan is out of the equation from the SmackDown side of things, you would think in storyline now is the perfect opportunity, right? You're thinking about Edge's moniker and all that, the ultimate opportunist and all that. You would think now he resurfaces, gets that one-on-one against Roman. They do it at a Hell in a Cell. Otherwise, if you're not even going in an Edge direction, you're a little bit limited as far as, but you're either going to go Bianca Belair, Bayley, Hell in a Cell, or you're going to go Roman Reigns in a Hell in a Cell from the SmackDown side of things. As far as the Raw side of things, do you go with Lashley? Do you go, do you go with Lashley, Strowman, McIntyre one more time, Hell in a Cell? Or do you go with Lashley, Kofi Kingston, Hell in a Cell? Actually, would pretty damn good, quite honestly. So I mean, WWE's in an interesting position right now where they got a little bit of time to try to figure it out. They got about, I think honestly, give them about 2 weeks, and we're really gonna start seeing how things are going to be shaping up for Hell in a Cell and everything. As far as some other noteworthy things about Raw tonight, just real quickly here. Let me go over some other notes for Raw here. Where are we? Looking at my Raw notes. Bear with me, guys. I want to just pull up my Raw notes. Let's see. AJ Styles taking on Elias. I'll definitely give that an honorable mention. It was an okay match. Okay matchup. Did not care for Angel Garza taking on Drew Gulak. You know, if there was any time that a fan should have been invested in Drew Gulak, that went out the window when D. Bryan was working with Gulak for a little bit on SmackDown. Man, that wasn't that long ago, and look at what's been going on with Gulak ever since. I'm just not feeling what's going on with Gulak. I mean, look, assuming that WWE might be able to work things out with D. Bryan, do we eventually go in that direction where D. Bryan shows up on Raw and pretty much says to Gulak, take me by the hand. I'm going to do my best to take you to the promised land. You know, you've lost that fighting feeling. Whoa, that fighting feeling. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on what you need to do with that one. But yeah, it is what it is with that one. Don't care for that though. This whole Angel Garza thing, and or as I've been dubbing him, Pepe Le Pew Garza. I'm not feeling what's going on with this guy. Why can't this guy just be like your new modern day ravishing Rick Rude? Why can't this guy just, with these roses, why can't this guy just have the type of gimmick where he's flirting with different talents, women, significant others, right? And it's pretty much, and boom, that's how you pretty much get your whole feud thing going on or whatever. That would be kind of badass. I wish they would kind of do something along those lines. But, yeah, not must-see TV, I gotta tell you. It is not must-see TV at all. WWE Tag Team Championship match. Tamina, Natty defending against Shayna and Nia Jax. Tamina, Natty retaining their tag titles. We got to do something with the Alexa Bliss playground stuff, man. I mean, all I heard for what felt like an eternity post-match. Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of my fucking hamster that I used to have, fucking ferret that I used to have back in the day when they got so fucking excited because somebody was playing with him or whatever, and he'd get that fucking, Jesus, that loop track was just, oof. That was just, so I guess Alexa Bliss and whoever Lily is, I guess they maybe got their eyes set on the tag champions. I guess. Some people wondering who Lily is going to be. Who is potentially going to be Lily? Well, one person we know is not going to be Lily. It ain't going to be Nikki Cross. Randomly, just out of nowhere, we hadn't seen this girl in what felt like a couple of months, and Nikki Cross is just randomly at ringside as a fucking lumberjack as John Morrison was taking on Damian Priest earlier tonight. And this go round, we had human wrestlers for lumberjacks. And Nikki Cross is just right there. I mean, just there. Boy, I tell you, what a great travesty. What a damn travesty that's going on with Nikki Cross. It's quite fucking sad. It's quite fucking sad. Solid matchup of the night. Sheamus taking on Ricochet. Sheamus picking up the dub. Easiest fucking highlight of the entire fucking night. If not, maybe even the first true highlight of the night. when you really stop and think about it. Asuka taking on Charlotte Flair. Asuka picking up the dub. Girls went about 16 minutes. Good damn match. I know a lot of fans felt kind of bullshittish about what was going on with Asuka last night at the pay-per-view and everything. And they just were like, man, it's so fucked up. What's going on? Some people even were so extreme as to say Asuka got buried. And I didn't look at it at that as that. The way I looked at it essentially was, okay, look, Asuka, not for nothing, she had her time in the sun, a significant period in the sun. When it counted the most, she was the MVP during that pandemic era and everything. Look, we're almost at the finish line and everything, but what I'm speaking more along the lines of is when the pandemic was just first really just at its peak there, Asuka was delivering some really solid, memorable moments. And it had some really good matches too. So for me, looking at everything that was going on with Rhea Ripley, her ascension and all that, I pretty much just looked at it as, okay, well, all due respect, but Asuka has had her time. Now it's all about paying it forward. Now it's all about trying to help establish and create new stars and everything. That's what it was all about. And look, not for nothing, but in case you didn't check out the post show, I was very complimentary of that triple threat match between Asuka, Charlotte, and Ripley. Very complimentary. So for me, seeing what they did between Asuka and Charlotte Flair tonight, I dug it. Some people are looking at tonight and maybe some want to call this a repair job, if you will, somewhat of redemption for Asuka. I don't even look at it as that. I don't. The only way I would actually look at this, I would look at this more as, okay, we're trying to figure out what exactly is going on with Charlotte Flair, who so far had a pawn in Sonya Deville to try to get what she wanted. And I'm trying to understand, something that I haven't heard any of my colleagues and friends out there in the podcasting world touch upon. Why would Sonya Deville in previous weeks, why would she cave in to Charlotte Flair and bend over backwards, putting herself in a position where she's butting heads with Adam Pearce and all of that? And I was kind of under the impression a little bit that, is Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville, is there more that meets the eye with these two? In storyline, of course. Is there some type of... And I just kind of felt as though maybe, just maybe, we might have been seeing some seeds planted there where somehow they are a couple or whatever, and or that's the impression that I was kind of under originally, because it's like, why would Sonya Deville bend over backwards for Charlotte Flair like that? Like, the two of them have no prior history whatsoever. You go back to when Sonya Deville was a in-ring wrestler, there's no in the storyline and everything. There's nothing. So why would Sonya bend over backwards, right? So I was kind of under the impression for a hot little minute there, and I still am, that something's going on there in storyline. But your guess is as good as mine, because it was pretty ice cold tonight. It was definitely ice cold tonight. Sonya's definitely now on the side of Adam Pearce. So now I'm kind of going, okay, so now Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville are back on the same page? What, did they talk to HR or something? And that's how, like, what the fuck? So I guess that's over with? Kind of really confusing what all is going on right there. But for me, I just kind of looked at this more as further advancing the animosity that Charlotte Flair has for the newcomer and Rhea Ripley, her being champion and everything. Asuka having Charlotte Flair's number. What's next for Charlotte? How is she going to try to maneuver her way to getting one step closer to having a title shot opportunity? Because essentially by her losing to Asuka tonight, you could almost make the argument, okay, well then seems as though it's probably going to maybe be Asuka, Rhea Ripley one-on-one, which honestly should be a pretty damn good match and everything. But good match between these two girls. I gotta give it up to them. Other than that, that was it. I think we did fantastic. I mean, at this point, how long have we been on the air now? I don't see my counter. So I think at this point we probably got maybe, we got about almost an hour into the show. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. There's actually still a lot of showtime that's actually left, so we can keep rocking and rolling. But I do want to do this. I want to give you guys a friendly reminder. If you guys been enjoying the show so far, please show that ultimate support and make sure, if you haven't done so already, you click on that like, hit the subscribe, and the bell notification. Lets YouTube know you appreciate the content, helps them push it out a little better for more folks to check out and everything. It's so funny because I have been paying attention to just the last couple of videos that we put out, because we stream on multiple outlets, but I've particularly been paying attention to the YouTube analytics for the videos, and it's so fucking hilarious. So true story. So apparently some of the videos I've noticed, they'll have no dislikes, right? And let's just say for example, I'll tell you what, for example, the last NWA Powerrr episode that we did, I forgot how many likes it had. Maybe it was 8 likes or something like that. No dislikes, right? And it was so funny because the video barely made it 24 hours later. And, it's either a dislike bot or somebody thinks that they're being clever by creating multiple accounts and trying to spam the dislike button. So they essentially try to match the number of likes with dislikes, right? But YouTube, bless their fucking hearts, because I had reached out to YouTube a couple of months back and I told them, look, I'm noticing some weird bullshit that's going on with the videos. And YouTube basically was like, okay, we'll get back to you. So YouTube actually got back to me and they said, yeah, from what we're able to see based off the analytics, there's like, yeah, you're getting falsified information when it comes to those dislikes that you're getting. So we're going to continue to put your channel, on watch, and just take note that as far as real-time analytics go, it's going to take us a little bit of time because we're not at full capacity, but any likes or dislikes that we consider to be bogus, we're going to remove them. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So they've actually been purging, to my point, they've actually been purging my videos on YouTube and really filtering, okay, what is a real like and what is a bullshit dislike and everything. So it's funny. So like the same video, for example, 8 likes, 8 dislikes, it went back to 8 likes, right? So it's been funny. I know some people say that, oh, well, even if you get dislikes, even if somebody is spamming with the dislikes, it's still engagement, and YouTube is all about the engagement. I understand that point, but I'll do you one better. The fact that somebody is like either paying money for dislike bots or that somebody is doing that with, that just really shows you their priorities, does it not? I don't know about you all, but like if I can't stand somebody, first of all, and they're like on YouTube or whatever, if ultimately if I don't agree with a lot of the things that they're saying, or like it is just that on that, how can you get on a personal level with somebody you don't like either, by the way, especially if you've never met them, you've never gone one-on-one in a conversation with them. So you can't really say on a personal level you dislike them, right? But if you don't appreciate that YouTube content creator or whatever, I just don't understand why, like, okay, just X out the button and go check out something else. Like, to each its own, but like for me, I know not everybody can be like me, but for me, if I come across somebody's content, say on YouTube or Twitch, whatever, if I don't like, I'm not gonna leave any snide comments. I'm not gonna leave a dislike or or a hateful email or anything like that. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, this is not for me. I don't care about this. Go look at something else. I fucking do that shit all the time, yo. Hey, let me get into some Patreon shout outs real quick, and then I want to get into the Triple H show or the John Cena show. I'll explain in a hot second. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio, video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to my good friend Anthony DeBlasi, Don Tony. Shout out to Freddie. Ain't seen him in a good minute. I gotta check in with him, see what the young brother's been up to. Shout out to longtime RCWR show supporter and Gino Morgan, Michael Wolf, JD Davis. Shout out to Screaming Bulls 1, a fantastic wrestling sculptor. If you need custom figures or bust made, make sure you hit him up. He's on Twitter as Screaming Bulls 1. Put in the actual number 1, Screaming Bulls 1. Check him out. Appreciate it. Oh yeah. Actually no, that's it. I was about to do one more shout out, but no, that last shout out was last week, so we fulfilled all our commitments as far as their shout outs go, so we're good. So last week we had this poll, and we basically were talking about the Triple H show or the John Cena show. And I asked you guys, you can see the poll for yourself on our communities tab, youtube.com/the RCWR show, and click on the communities tab and you'll be able to see it. But we pretty much asked you, which show was worse? The Triple H show, where he buried, so many opponents, or the John Cena show, and John Cena burying so many opponents. And interesting results, because when we created poll and all that from last week, I was ready to talk about it that Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, but it like freaking doubled the amount of votes that were coming in, that I said, okay, you know what? Let me go on ahead and let me extend this a little bit longer. And then last Friday on the RCWR show, I was ready to go over the polling results. But, unfortunately, we had heard about the passing of ECW New Jack. And in a new update with regards to New Jack, I actually was not even going to mention New Jack until later on. But since we're kind of already there, I'm not sure how many of you guys are aware of it, but there is a GoFundMe for New Jack. And this was created by Jeanette Davis, who is actually a really good friend of the family. So she created this GoFundMe with the family's blessing, with New Jack's family's blessing. And for those of you that maybe are in a position where you can contribute, this family would greatly, humbly appreciate it. If you know one thing about me, no matter how you may feel about me from over the years, I know we got lurkers and all that. They like to try to keep their tabs on what I'm doing and everything, watch from a distance in the shadows and all that shit. But still kind of hate my guts at the same time. You'd be surprised. But if there's one thing that nobody can deny in regards to me, and I've been this way for years. Anytime there is a pro wrestler in a community who is struggling financially, or man, heaven forbid, they're gone, the family is struggling with finances, they need some help, I'm always quick to point out to you, hey, this is what's up. If you guys are able to give, please. And I usually follow it up with, hey, I'm definitely going to be coughing up a little something. And, I've shown over the years that, and this isn't me sucking my dick or anything like that. I'm just letting you know the consistency as far as when something is going on, like legit. I do care. And in any way that I'm able to try to help out, I got the most powerful thing that's at my disposal, which is this show and the platforms that we're on and the social media platforms included and everything. So I always try to let you guys know about some really important stuff that's going on. Because look, I get asked all the time. When people are trying to buy advertising slots with me and everything. I get asked all the time, hey, can you promote my GoFundMe? And you know what it comes down to? This is nothing more than about a person, typically, from my experience, a person that can't go get a 9-to-5 job, and they're trying to get rent money or some other shit, and so they think, oh, GoFundMe, just get a GoFundMe and watch the cash money come in, and it's like, and I shoot these people down very politely and respectfully. I say to them, no, it's like the only GoFundMes, Indiegogo, the only type of campaigns I'm promoting are for those involved in the wrestling business, the families of those that were involved in the wrestling business, because, they give a lot to their fans. Like, those are the only ones unless we're talking about a military war veteran or something like that, like, I'm not interested. So this was created over the weekend, this GoFundMe for New Jack, and the money that they're trying to get together and everything. Not only would this cover funeral expenses, but it would also help out the family, definitely from a financial standpoint, as far as transitioning and everything, because even though he passed away at 58, New Jack left some young kids behind. Believe it or not, he left some young kids behind. I don't even think they're in their teens. Y'all can't correct me if I'm wrong, but they are not even in their teens. So this GoFundMe page was created because Jerome Young, New Jack, and his wife, they have been allocating money towards a future merchandising store for the New Jack brand. That's why, if you guys notice, now all of a sudden there's a New Jack store at Pro Wrestling Tees and everything. So that's another thing you guys want to try to represent. Now look, I'm not sure if it's 100% profits or if it's proceeds. Remember, we talked about the difference of that long ago when it came to Shaq Gaspard, and there were different companies, wrestlers that were making all types of really cool deals where they were either saying 100% profits are going to be going towards or 100% proceeds. Look up our episode when we first were talking about Shaq Gaspard, maybe the show afterwards, and I went into the whole profits versus proceeds, or at your own leisure, do a Bing Google search and you just type in the difference between, and you can educate yourself that way and everything. But so part of the money would obviously help out towards that New Jack business brand endeavor. It would also take care of funeral expenses, laying him to rest and everything. And it would also cover any costs for any unexpected emergency expenses. So, not just the wife here, but think about those young kids that he's leaving behind. So if you're able to give in any type of way, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you got $5, $10, $20, whatever. if you have no money right now, and because for some of us we're still kind of hurting in regards to this pandemic and everything. If you are not able to give right now, you can do the next best thing and just share the link. That's all you got to do. Just share the link. It's that easy. And with regards to the link, I'm actually going to post it for you guys right now in the chat. So just bear with me a hot second here. And I will type this up. New Jack GoFundMe. And for those of you that, depending on where you're viewing this, it depends. Like some of you guys will be able to click the link. Others, if you just type in a Bing search, New Jack GoFundMe, it's the very first fucking link that you see. And I had tested that out right before I had came on the air. You just type in New Jack GoFundMe, and it's in a Bing search. Do it in a Bing search. It's the very first fucking link that you come across. Now, for those of you that want to be cute and you want to say, oh, well, I kind of prefer doing Google. Well, if that's the case, then when you do fucking Google, it is not the first thing that you see. Well, actually, hang on. Maybe it is. Hang on. Let me look here. Yeah. So you win either way. You type in New Jack GoFundMe in a Google or Bing search, and it's the very first fucking link that you see. So click on it. They're doing pretty good right now. As it stands tonight, midnight, May 18th, 2021, beginning of Tuesday here. I should say, I said Monday night, but it's really Tuesday night. So far, they've made over $11,000. Their goal is $50,000. Now, some of you guys may ask me, Lee, hey, no bullshit, dog. I checked out your show from Friday. I know you are not a fan of New Jack. Are you gonna donate? Yes, I will donate. What have I always told you guys consistently? Whatever problems I may have with some wrestlers, it's never personal. It's never personal. If, worst case scenario, if somebody rubs me the wrong way, then they're either going to rub me the wrong way because of how they conduct themselves, outside the ring, amongst their peers, or maybe their style of wrestling or whatever. Maybe, I just don't particularly care for. For me, it's never personal. I just told you guys not that long ago, I picked up New Jack's biography that's going to be coming in a few days. So that lets you know, as far as anything personal, like, because I know New Jack, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I'm definitely one of those people. But, man, what do you say to those kids, man? I can, however I'm feeling, which isn't personal, I can easily just, all right, fuck that. This family needs some help. What's up? So share that link all throughout social media. Give where you can and all that. And for those of you that's able to give, thank you in advance. I would normally say anybody that donates, I will do my best to match you. I'm sure you guys can give me a pass for right now, since I got a wedding and a honeymoon coming up in a couple of weeks. Otherwise, I would definitely say that. But yeah. So lift up y'all's spirits just a little bit more. That poll from earlier. So let's look at the latest polling results here, because I want to share with you guys and also give a nod to everybody that had cast their votes voting here. All right, so we got it loading up here. Bear with me a second here. And again, you can see this for yourself. Go click on the communities tab page over on YouTube. All right, guys, here we go. I love this, man. I love this. This was a really fun interactive poll. I think we got to do this a lot more. So again, the question was, which show back in the day pissed you off more? The Triple H show, where all your favorites got, well, buried by Triple H, or the John Cena show? Vote now. Coming in, well, let me tell you your options. Your options were the Triple H show, the John Cena show, Too Close to Call, it's a tie. Those are your three options. Coming in with 22% of the votes, the Triple H show. Now, in regards to the Triple H show, and that's what myself and many others have dubbed it over the years, where Triple H was just, good God almighty, he was just steamrolling like a motherfucker over any and every goddamn body. I mean, where do we start? Where do we start in regards to motherfuckers just getting buried by Triple H? Do we maybe go with Paige? Do we maybe go with Paige? Because Paige was not someone that Triple H faced in the ring. No, hell no, not at all. But he did take, as everybody recalled some years back, he did take jabs at her on social media in regards to her lifestyle. And this had pretty much set social media blazing hot. And I mean, he was getting such mega fucking heat that eventually Triple H had to come right back and apologize. You know, some people kind of felt as though, you know what? He was well within his right. You know, he's just, you know, he was being objective. And yeah, you could say maybe he was giving Paige some tough love. And at the same time, this is somebody that honestly, you know, cares about her and everything. And if I remember it right, I think, if I remember that joint with Paige, I think it was a conference call where the shit had went down. And yeah, one of those type of deals. How about Daniel Bryan? You look at what was going on with Daniel Bryan, that build up. Daniel Bryan defeating John Cena at SummerSlam 2013. Look at all that great shit that was going on. And then Daniel Bryan going to win the WWE Championship. And just look at the circumstances when everything pretty much was set up for Randy Orton to ultimately get the championship off of Daniel Bryan. It wasn't so much the fact that Daniel Bryan got the championship off of Daniel Bryan. It was the fashion in which Randy Orton had got that championship, due largely in part to Triple H. Because you go to that infamous Money in the Bank pay-per-view when Daniel Bryan was taking on Randy Orton, and if I remember it correctly, Triple H was involved. Why do I feel as though Triple H might have been a ref in that fucking match? Man, I'm almost kind of wondering now. But Triple H hit Daniel Bryan with the pedigree, middle of the ring, pretty much setting up Randy Orton to cash in the Money in the Bank contract to become champion. And you just look at that great ride, that great momentum that Daniel Bryan had going on there. You know, the ultimate, I tip my hat off to you, sir, coming from John Cena. Trying to be a true professional here and trying to give back, trying to pay it forward and everything. And you look at how it was just ultimately crushed there by Triple H and that poor booking decision. It took Daniel Bryan months to regain that momentum. It took him fucking months. Where else do you go as far as burial of Triple H? Do you maybe go, say, WrestleMania 25? Do you maybe go with Randy Orton? Believe it or not, Randy Orton was even buried by Triple H. Randy Orton back then, he was just God. Randy Orton was bringing the fucking fire back in the day. I mean, he was going tick for tat with Triple H, right down to the point. Think about this. Other than Randy Orton, how many other guys do you recall in WWE history from the moment that Triple H, Steph got together? How many other guys can you recall that kissed Stephanie? I mean, sure, everybody remembers the infamous kiss, Eric Bischoff, Stephanie McMahon. But to my point, the list is very, very short. You'd be lucky if you were even able to pull 5 names out of your hat. Since Triple H and Stephanie have been together, and as far as guys in storyline that was kissing all up on her, the list is very, very short. And Randy Orton was put in that position where he kissed Stephanie, pissing the fuck out of Triple H, punning Vince McMahon about oh my god, punning the shit out of his father-in-law and everything. I mean, Randy Orton was just on a fucking roll back then. I mean, you just couldn't fucking touch him. And yet, he was pinned by Triple H, won the title a month later at Backlash in a 6-man tag match. And at that point, you know, you could make the argument that what was really banging and going on good there with Randy Orton, well, you had Triple H to essentially blame for that. Here's another burial. This wasn't exactly I think it really depends on how you want to look at this one. But if you're asking me for my honest opinion, I would say piss poor booking. One that always stands out to me and is at the very top of my list. By the way, I'm not giving this to you in no particular order, but you look at Triple H and Sting. The great white shark that Vince McMahon had been chasing after for so many fucking years. So many fucking years. He was chasing after Sting. Vince almost gave up there. He almost gave up. Well, finally, they were able to get the last outlaw from WCW. They were able to get that one significant piece of WCW history, such a rich history. They were able to acquire that one talent that had always escaped them, that they felt they could have done epic things with, in the icon Sting. And over the years, we understood from Sting, Steve Borden's perspective, why he didn't want to go to WWE. His biggest fear was that, he looked at what was going on with some of the guys there that went from WCW to WWE, and he saw what was going on with Booker. He saw what was going on with Goldberg. He looked at that whole invasion angle. There's a lot of shit that he had noticed, and it all rubbed him the wrong way, and he was under the impression, nah, you know what, I don't really have faith. I don't really think that. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if what it finally had came down to for the Stinger was, you know what? Why not? This could ultimately be, for sure, one of my last significant paydays. Look at the great roster of talent that they have available that I would potentially be able to work with. Look at how they would be able to brand me and market me. I mean, we're talking about a powerhouse juggernaut. No denying that when it comes to WWE and their branding marketing team. Let's fucking do this. Why not? Let's fucking do this. So, while everybody was going with the whole dream match, Undertaker, Sting, that's what everybody wanted to see. For whatever respected reasons, Sting, Taker never happened. Even when the Stinger was in WWE, it never happened. Never, ever, ever. And yet we get Sting taking on Triple H at WrestleMania a couple of years back. yeah, that was a nice, cool little moment where we got the NWO, D-Generation X was going at it and everything. Sting's very first WrestleMania, and yet he was pinned by Triple H. And it just really, it really just, I get fans that were pretty pissed off by this. I wasn't at the level of being pissed when this moment came about. I was greatly disappointed because I couldn't help but say to myself, man, okay, it's well established that WWE ultimately won the Monday Night War. We get that and everything, but do we really need to go in this direction where we're going to have Sting? You just follow that storyline that was laid out too, leading into WrestleMania. And this felt like a foregone conclusion that Sting was going to win. It just felt that way. So the fact that it went opposite, and Sting, to his credit, very vocal over the years. And of course, he tried to stay on that company line while he was still doing business with WWE and everything. But now that his time and all that is officially done, yeah, he definitely looks at that particular moment as that's definitely not how he had envisioned it, For him, business is business, but that definitely rubbed him the wrong way. Triple H in later years, hey, was that the right decision that we should have went with? Probably not, but at the time, we felt it was the right decision, right direction we should have gone in. No matter what, it was still a bad move. Some people look at this as a burial. I look at it as a huge creative misstep. But you still can't help but think about that particular moment. How about Zack Ryder? Back when Zack Ryder was doing his thing with that nice created internet title and all that, Zack Ryder seemed like he was really going places once upon a time long ago. Seemed like he was really starting to go places. Had that nice YouTube show, Long Island Story and all that. But upon crossing paths with Triple H, that pretty much just put all of that to a screeching fucking halt. In the particular moment that I'm talking about, you had a moment in the ring where Triple H in storyline had Zack Ryder coming off like the ultimate fucking fanboy for superstars, because Zack Ryder couldn't believe that he was sharing the ring with Triple H, and he wanted to take a selfie. And Triple H came off kind of, yeah. And then gave him a fucking pedigree and just left him laid out in the middle of the ring. And this the storyline, this pretty much came after the WWE locker room had voted no confidence in Triple H. So you look back to that particular period. One of my personal favorite guys in WWE, I miss him tremendously to this very day. And every time I look at Jacob Fatu, I always think about this dude, Umaga. The fact that he went from 3-minute warning to becoming Umaga, and he was just steamrolling through the competition and everything. Let me tell you something. I had not fucked with a heel talent quite like I did with Umaga, not since Yokozuna. That's how much I had really, really fucked with Umaga. And Umaga was just, man, anybody that remembers the WWE product back then, it really seemed as though Umaga and just everything, Armado, Estrada, everything, it seemed as though, okay, this guy's definitely going to be a WWE champion. This is definitely just the way he was being built up. But remember there was a championship match that he had with John Cena. Great feud. There was like, I think they did a program for like about 2, maybe 3 months. It was a great little program that they had and everything. You know, he didn't get the championship. Then he runs into Triple H, who beat him in every single fucking match. And how the hell are you supposed to build from that? How the hell are you supposed to, right? Your number one agenda is definitely to put yourself in a position where you're building stars and creating stars and doing what you can to, you know, really help your promotion flourish and give that good variety out there to your fans and everything. And I always look back on one of those particular moments, of all the moments with Umaga. I always look at that moment and just say, that's one that significantly they messed up. I'll give you another one that really kind of stands out. This ain't no top 10 list or anything, like just particular moments that jump out in my head. Chris Jericho. Yeah, sure. We remember that one infamous night, Monday Night Raw, Chris Jericho defeating Triple H, championship, getting Earl Hebner to reverse the decision later on. We remember that. But how about when Jericho defeated The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the same night to become the first ever undisputed champion? How about when Chris Jericho ultimately had teamed up with Stephanie McMahon? And of all people, Stephanie McMahon was in his corner. And I mean, if there was ever a particular time when, you know, you're kind of saying to yourself, okay, the stars have aligned, everything is just, this is all about Chris Jericho right now. And remember, Triple H was gone because of a quad injury. Remember that. He was gone because of a quad injury. And as we all know, ultimately, Triple H came back. Man, he was gone for like a year and everything, but just in time for WrestleMania season, essentially. Comes back, pretty much knocking Chris Jericho off that tier as the champion, when in actuality, what really should have most likely went down, Jericho goes over. And as I always like to say, the chase is better than the catch. Why they could not just have Triple H continue to chase after Chris Jericho, beyond me. Of course, some people remember CM Punk. I'm very quick to actually remember Goldberg. All I gotta say. And of course, we just literally talked about this about 2 weeks ago. Booker T, hello. We got a clip up on the YouTube channel where we went all into it. So there's no reason to rehash, right? There's no reason to rehash that, but Booker T, it's another one. So definitely some very interesting moments here. Hell, you could even make an argument for Scott Steiner, boys and girls. You could even make an argument for Scott Steiner. I know there's probably a lot of other names I probably left out, but just for me personally, off the top of my head, that's just some of the names that jump out to me. So again, looking at the polling results, 22% of you had said the Triple H show. Meanwhile, coming in at second place, 30% said too close to call. It's a tie. I really wish you would have just picked a side, but no, legit, 30% of you felt it was too close to call. It was a tie. I totally respect that. Totally respect that. Number one top dog, 49% of you said the John Cena show. Hands down. That was the show that pissed you off more, was the John Cena show. How do we count the ways in regards to John Cena, by the way? I mean, really, how where do you even begin with regards to John Cena? Some of my moments that stand out to me with regards to John Cena, I got to show the same love now, right? Wade Barrett, Nexus. Wade Barrett particularly, because when I look back on just the way Wade Barrett was properly introduced to the WWE universe, being the first season winner of NXT, Wade Barrett, going in pretty much like a week or two later with his Nexus group, and they just, of all the people, just a way to start off a new faction, them beating the shit out of John Cena. Oh, I loved it. I ate that shit up. For me, it was refreshing. I dug it. I thought it was one of the most awesome fucking moments in WWE history. A lot of cool moments where Cena was attacked and everything, but one feud particularly, you had a 7-on-7 elimination match. We're talking SummerSlam 2010. And John Cena was the only one left on Team WWE. And somehow this guy just, fucking Captain America. I mean, he just fucking, through all the obstacles, despite all the numbers not being in his favor, somehow he was able to overcome the Nexus. Some folks look at that particular moment and saying, yeah, you know what? It was at that moment that the death of Nexus began, right there. And that's despite the fact that Wade Barrett had continued his feud with John Cena. A lot of people have felt that with everything that was going on with Wade Barrett during that particular period, Nexus and all that, a lot of people felt that, okay, you know what? If this guy, this is the guy, I mean, he had the coolest fucking finisher, Wasteland. Jesus fucking Christ. The fact that you could just take anybody, doesn't matter their height, their weight. I mean, Wade Barrett's a pretty tall guy, nice, good, wide, strong, broad shoulders and everything. And just the way he would fucking do Wasteland, I mean, shit. Badass fucking finisher. I thought it was cool. Mad fucking charisma. Long before he started doing the whole, I got bad news for you, bad news bird. Long before that shit, dude was fucking beast. And everything was just money with him back then, that you could almost see, yeah, WWE champion. For sure, WWE champion. And everything just kind of seemed to suggest Wade Barrett was going to be that guy that was going to take the title off of John Cena and everything. But for whatever respective reason, it did not happen. The kiss of death officially for Wade Barrett. And you can definitely say, yeah, the John Cena burial or whatever. You got to go back to the cheers match that they had during the TLC pay-per-view. That pretty much was it for Barrett. And he never really did recover from that. Sure, he had the bad news Barrett thing going on and all that. League of Nations and all that other stupid shit. But he never really reached that pinnacle early in his career ever again. Kind of sucks. We were talking about Triple H earlier and Umaga. You got to put John Cena right there as well, because just as Triple H did not help Umaga, John Cena did not help Umaga as well. So definitely another one that you got to go with. I would also say Ryback. Ryback is actually another one I would go with. And you look at that particular period in time, sure, way Ryback was, I still remember the Goldberg chants. It's hard to believe, but Ryback was getting Goldberg chants, believe it or not, back in the day. But man, when he went heel and he was going after Cena, you're going, okay, this is different. This is kind of cool. Okay, I like this. Let's see where this goes. Here's another guy. You're looking at Ryback here. What does Ryback have in common with Wade Barrett. Huh? How about that? So here's another guy you're looking at and you're going, oh man, you had some nice gems that were in the Nexus. Some nice ass fucking gems. Now, granted, for some of these guys that were in the Nexus, for some of them, they didn't blossom just overnight. For some of them, it took a couple of years. Darren Rozier, I mean, he's tearing it up now. He's doing phenomenally well, I personally think. Heath Slater, definitely doing a pretty damn good job. Ryback, he definitely blossomed. Wade Barrett blossomed for what it was worth. There's one guy I'm picturing in my head right now. I can't quite. His name is escaping me right now. And no, not David Otunga. I'm not talking about David Otunga. This guy, it's a white guy that I'm thinking about. God, what is his name? It's gonna come to me in a little bit. I think he's from Australia. Oh, see, that's gonna Justin Gabriel was another one. For whatever respective reason, it never really clicked. That was one guy of all the guys. That definitely was a guy I was looking at. I was expecting a lot of big things to happen for singles career-wise, and it never really seemed to explode here in the U.S. For him. But Ryback was another one that you look at, and like I said, when he turned heel, you're going, okay, if anybody, fuck yeah, we're definitely going there with fucking Ryback. But then you think about that infamous 3 stages of hell for the WWE Championship. I mean, you had that early pinfall for Ryback in that match, but pretty much John Cena was just Captain fucking America, Man of Steel for the rest of that damn joint, and that pretty much was the end of John Cena. Yeah. I mean, we could just keep going on and on and on about the John Cena Shit! I just talked about Booker T and Triple H, right? Can I tell you the one joint where I felt the number one for me on my list? Teach its own, but the number one for me as far as John Cena burials. R-fucking-Truth. Now, younger fans, newer WWE fans, they probably don't know this. But if you got WWE Network or you got Peacock, check this out, right? But believe it or not, R-Truth was a damn good ass heel. I mean, and back during this period, I mean, he was going all schizophrenic, talking about spiders and shit. I mean, it was a new level of, woo, I didn't know R-Truth was capable of this shit. What the hell? And he was white hot. Everything that was going on with him. And just, you look back on it and everything, even up to that point, R-Truth was just a glorified mid-card guy. I was just a glorified mid-card guy. Sure, you saw what he was doing in TNA, but just, excuse me, in the WWE realm, he was just a mid-carder. Excuse me once again. So, to see him do that turn all of a sudden, I mean, I found it to be one of the most intriguing, coolest fucking moments ever. First incarnation of his invisible friend, Little Jimmy, and all that. And I remember how everything led to a match between John Cena and R-Truth. It was Capital Punishment, and it was right here in Washington, D.C. It was at I think at that time, it was still called the Verizon Center. And it was Capital Punishment. I want to say Capital Punishment 2012. I still remember the graphic poster for for it this very day, because you basically had this caricature of, and I wonder who drew that. I wonder if that was a Jerry Lawler piece or what. But your referee in the middle was Barack Obama, and on one side you had John Cena, and on the other side you had Rey Mysterio. But Capitol Center had went down at the Verizon Center 2000. Oh, it wasn't 2012. It was actually 2011. Now that I'm thinking about it more, it's actually 2011. And in your main event match, it was John Cena taking on R-Truth. I know that's probably hard to believe. John Cena, R-Truth in a main event match? Yes, you heard me right. John Cena, R-Truth, main event match for the WWE Championship. And it was so fucking cool. And, you know, it seemed as though the way everything was going up until that point, it felt as though, okay, this is the moment. This is it. We're going to pull the trigger right here. There's going to be a huge fucking upset. It's going to be R-Truth, and it did not happen. You know, now legend has it, you know, you think about what was going on with CM Punk during that particular period of time. His contract was about to expire and everything. And, you know, the rest is pretty much history, you know, as they say and all that. But, you know, you still can't help but kind of go, yeah, but I mean, come on. Like, really? So some of the moments that kind of stand out to me in my mind when I think about just some of the, you know, what the fuck, you know, what the fuck moments. I'm trying to think if there's maybe any others. Oh yeah, we were talking about him earlier. What about Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt and John Cena, man, definitely, yeah. Yeah. Now you can kind of say, well, eventually Bray Wyatt kind of got his revenge, and I would say to you, yeah, he did, only to walk out the very next day and a big ass hammer fell on his head and laid him out. Right? I mean, you get the point that I'm making. So, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more, but those are the main ones that kind of stick out in my mind. I'm a little bit curious what you all's moments are as far as some of those guys I talked about and some of the burials and everything. I'm a little bit curious where you guys are on that one. But nice going down memory lane there, just talking about some of that stuff. And I would imagine that for you younger fans out there, now that you've heard some of this stuff, it may probably empower you a little bit to go on the network and everything and kind of see what we were watching years back. And especially, I would imagine a lot of people are going to, wait a minute, R-Truth, John Cena for the WWE Championship? Wait a minute, the silly little black guy that's running around right now, 24/7 Championship, he was involved in a match for the WWE title, the heavyweight title, and he was booked as a serious threat during that period. Yeah, believe it or not, yeah. So NWA Powerrr, they got a nice fucking card that's going to be coming up this week. I want to read that card to you guys, and yeah, I will be live Tuesday covering NWA Powerrr Fallout. Right now, we've got a NWA Women's World Title #1 contender match. Thunder Rosa taking on Camille. If Thunder Rosa loses this match, she can no longer work for other promotions outside of the NWA. Pope, D'Angelo Dinero, will be taking on Matt Cross. Aaron Stevens and Kratos, they're going to be in action. And that's pretty much all we know right now for NWA Powerrr. So that should be a pretty good card. I'm actually looking forward to that card. Also, some other interesting news. Shout out to the good kind folks over at Fightful. They're reporting that Don Callis apparently is no longer the Impact Wrestling Executive VP. as they basically are saying that Scott D'Amore has pretty much taken over that position. He has been given more and more power and is the one that is essentially leading the company behind the scenes. Remember, Callis had started doing his work as a co-EVP for Impact going back 2017, late 2017. So, it's not known right now if Don Callis's days are numbered in Impact Wrestling or what. Right now, reports are suggesting that Don Callis in Impact, he's strictly just going to be a on-screen character. So, interesting development right there. I'm a little bit curious what exactly, is going on there. Shout out to anybody that's able to get an interview there with Don Callis. I would like to know exactly what's up with that. Impact Wrestling this week, after winning the #1 contenders match at Under Siege Saturday night. Remember, we did do a post show covering Fallout on that. Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, they were your winners from that contenders match at Under Siege. They will be facing Finn Juice on this Thursday's Impact for those tag titles. So should be a pretty good matchup. I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see. Also, trying to see what else. Oh my God! I can't believe I almost forgot about this. Rest in peace to National Wrestling League's owner and founder Dick Karakofi, who had passed away. He ran this promotion, definitely some close ties out here for me in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, because he ran the National Wrestling League out of Maryland and Virginia for a good number of years. This promotion had first launched back in the late 80s, 1988, I want to say. It had launched in Maryland, and the promotion would later run international tours. His son actually had wrestled for the NWL. He wrestled under the name Neil Superior, and his son had passed away in 1996. So yeah, he had passed away there. So rest in peace. All accounts, very respectable man. Great businessman, great mind for the business, and out, just overall great human being. So rest in peace. Godspeed. And other than that, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a couple other little tidbits that's kind of gone down since last we were on the air, but at this point we can honestly get into some more of that good stuff on Wednesday's show. So, friendly reminder as far as programming notes for this week. Tuesday, new RCWR show. We're coming on after NWA Powerrr goes off the air. Tune in for that. That's going to be fantastic. All we're talking about is NWA Powerrr. So any questions you want me to maybe dive into that's not NWA related, you may want to just hold it off until the Wednesday show. Wednesday, I'll be back. We'll be coming on after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. We'll cover NXT Fallout on that same episode as well. By then, we're going to have an idea what's going on with the ratings for NXT. We should by then. So I'll definitely give my reactions to NXT's ratings on that Wednesday show and offer my projections on what I think is going to be going down with AEW. So that should be good. You know how we do on that Wednesday show. We go a little bit more all over the place. So tune in for that. That should be a pretty good show. More Patreon content is going to be dropping as well this week. So FYI. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. Appreciate all the love and support as always, especially for those of you that go out of your way, check out the show on demand and on the downloads. Definitely appreciate that as always. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. Those of you waiting for the audio version of this, give me about up to an hour at most, and I will have it available, okay? Till next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe, most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you next go round. Y'all do take care. Good night, good morning.